Hi community of awesome, I'm Gabe and this is Bookish Pixie. So I've gotten a lot of questions about writing in different categories and genres and how that fits in with having an agent. Just so everyone's on the same page, a category is the age group, so like young adult, middle grade, early reader, picture book, adult, etc. Whereas genre is more like contemporary, sci-fi, fantasy, romance, horror, historical, etc. Some writers prefer to stick to like one category in genre and they write a whole bunch of books in that category and genre, whereas other writers like to kind of write different things sometimes, and that's cool too. But the question that frequently comes up is how that works when you want to write in different categories and genres and also are working with an agent. So agents are often specialized in a certain number of genres and categories, and how many genres and categories they represent is up to the agent. So you might find one agent, for example, that does just certain genres that are YA, whereas you might find another agent that works a little more broadly. So when looking for an agent, the best practice is to think about what you write and what you want to write. Granted, that may change over time and that's okay, but all you can really do is plan for what you know. So if you know, for example, that you want to write, let's say, both adult and YA, then you'll want to pay more attention to agents who represent both adult and YA. But if you know what you really want to write and focus on is middle grade fantasy, then you're going to want to find an agent who has lots of experience selling middle grade fantasy. When I was querying the time that I got an agent, I was querying Beyond the Red, which is a young adult sci-fi. So I obviously was focusing on agents that represented young adult sci-fi, but I also knew that I wanted to write young adult fantasy and other genres within YA and maybe also other categories. I wasn't 100% sure, but I knew I wanted some flexibility to be able to try different things, so I was looking for agents who represented a more broad spectrum of work. Fortunately, the agent I signed with does indeed represent a broad spectrum of things, so I've been able to throw out all sorts of ideas and projects at her, and it's all been fine because she has experience selling most things. But let's say that you are querying a young adult fantasy, and you signed with an agent who's got lots of experience selling young adult fantasies, and that's all good and well. And then a couple of years later, you decide you really want to write a middle grade contemporary, but your agent doesn't have a whole lot of experience selling that. That's okay, it's not the end of the world. All you have to do is talk to your agent. Maybe the agent will pull on their resources at the agency they work at and still go ahead and try to sell it. Or maybe I have seen some authors who work with more than one agent to represent different categories of their work, and that's fine too. It ultimately just comes down to talking to your agent though and strategizing to figure out what the best solution is going to be for you. So long story short, if you know that you want to write in multiple categories and genres, look for an agent who represents all of those categories and genres. But if down the road you end up writing something that your agent doesn't represent, that's okay too. You should be able to work something out. So that's what I got for today. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and comment, and I'll see you soon.